Good afternoon, everybody. Today we're presenting the CA2 sports nutrition for the tennis female team. My name is Josh, this is Jia, we have Jaren, we have Gerald, and then we have Jasper. Next slide. And then here's the content page that we're covering today. Next slide. Okay, so I'll be covering the physiological demands for tennis first. So first thing is your energy system. So we have anaerobic and anaerobic. Okay, so for anaerobic is more towards your explosive movements, your short period where you are doing your serve, your sprints, and your strokes. Okay, and then for aerobic will be your longer period activities such as the recovery and then your long games, so-called actions, sprints and your serve, everything as well. Then secondly, we have your cardiorespiratory conditioning and then fatigue resistance. So basically, as the trend goes, there's an increase in VO2 max and heart rate as the game progresses. So tennis, we require a lot of aerobic conditioning to help with the recovery between your rallies. Okay. For the third demand will be speed and agility. So speed is actually more towards like reacting to unpredictable ball trajectory during the games, and then you have to move explosively in like linear, lateral, and diagonal directions. So this is more towards your agility, changing your directions. And this can be worked through start-stop sprints of no more than 20 meters because that's usually the distance that you guys will be covering throughout the game of tennis. Okay, then fourth demand will be strength. So strength will cover the stroke power, your service velocity as well. And then it also helps to prevent injury such as like your rotator cuff injury because you're using a lot of rotator cuff circumduction. Okay, and then for the last one, you'll be flexibility and then range of motion. So this is primarily for your shoulder internal rotation when we are hitting, and then your body position in the service. Okay, so it reduces injury, risk of injury, and then it helps with your performance efficiency. Okay, next slide please. Okay, now I'll talk about the nutritional demands. So I'll be doing macronutrients first, then I'll go into micronutrients. Okay, so macronutrients essentially is your carbohydrates, protein, and your fats. So for carbs, the main function would be to actually provide energy for the high intensity movements. So if you're doing moderate intensity on the day, usually we will suggest about 5 to 7 grams of carbs per kilo weight of your body weight. And then for high intensity, it's about 7 to 10 grams per kilo of body weight. Okay, that's both are per day. And then the sources will include rice, pasta, bread, oats, fruits, and then sports drinks as well. Okay, and then next I will cover protein. So protein will help with your repairing of muscle damage, helps with muscle protein synthesis, prevents injuries, and then overall supports strength and power development. Okay, and then for consumption wise, you'll be 1.4 to 1.8 grams per kilo body weight per day. And then this will come from your chicken, your egg, your fish, tofu, and beans. Okay, and then lastly will be fats, and then this will be for basically an energy reserve for those longer duration matches. So this will come from 20 to 30% of your total daily energy intake. So here is just like an example, rough calculation of me doing for you how much you should actually consume if let's say you were to intake 2000, okay, 2000 calories. And then these fats can come from avocado, nuts, seeds, olive oil, and fatty fish. Okay, next slide please. Okay, then I'll be covering the micronutrients. So micronutrients, what you guys need to consume and is important will be your ADEK fat-soluble vitamins. So for vitamin A is your immunity and vision, then D is for bone health and muscle function. E is basically acts as an antioxidant, and then for K is a bone metabolism and blood clotting. It helps with that function. Okay, and then sources includes for vitamin A, carrots, kale, and liver. For vitamin D is fatty fish, egg yolks, and important, which is sunlight exposure. And then for vitamin E is nuts and seeds, and then for K is leafy greens, broccoli, and Brussels sprouts. Okay, then we also have these additional ones here. Potassium and sodium actually is quite similar as the importance, it helps with muscle contraction, nerve and transmission, and then these are the things that are slightly different. Okay, but those are the main ones that I highlighted in yellow. And then the sources for potassium actually comes from bananas, that's the main one. It can come from potatoes, oranges, spinach, beans, and yogurt as well. And then for sodium, it comes from mainly sports drinks, salted foods from the salt, and then soups and electrolyte tablets such as your ORS or oral rehydrating salts. Okay, and then I created this table here, which is important for females. So first micronutrient that will be important for you guys will be the iron, because iron carries oxygen throughout the body through hemoglobin in red blood cells. So it's important, especially when you guys are going through your menstrual cycle, because it prevents anemia, which is like low iron in the blood. Okay, and it helps to create energy through ATP, which is your additional triphosphate. Okay, then next one will be calcium. It just helps with overall bone strength and reduces the risk of stress fractures because females have a lower bone density and bone mass. Okay, so these two will be very important for you guys. And then for calcium, it comes from milk, cheese, tofu, and sardines. Okay, next slide please.
Okay, so next I'll be talking about some of the dietary challenges in tennis. So these are three of the main issues that you can face: caloric imbalance, variation in match intensity, as well as the loss of fluids and electrolytes, aka dehydration. So firstly, caloric imbalance. High energy demands during matches will actually cause you to enter a calorie deficit without your knowledge more easily because you are burning through and expending so much energy. This can actually cause poor recovery as you have a lack of certain nutrients, as Josh has just covered. Next, variation in match intensities. As mentioned before, you have high energy demands, but as we know, some matches, not all matches are played at the same intensity. Some may be easier, some may be harder, some may be in the in-between, right? So when there's this variation, energy expenditure will differ between matches. This means that your daily caloric needs will fluctuate from day to day, depending on your matches, right? Hence, to combat this, you should be adjusting your intake to your energy expenditure based on your match intensity. Last one, loss of fluids and electrolytes. Sweating during matches will cause loss of electrolytes such as sodium and potassium, which Josh has just covered the usage of. This can actually lead to risk of fatigue, number one, as well as muscle cramps if you lack these electrolytes. And then lastly, sweating is obviously the loss of bodily fluids, so this can also lead to dehydration. And to combat this, it would be to, number one, keep yourself hydrated with normal water as well as sports beverages which contain important electrolytes. Next slide. Yeah, so these are actually sport-specific nutritional demands to add on to what I've just said. These are actually all taken from the ITF, the International Tennis Federation. So consume an easy form of protein to digest within 30 minutes after tennis play. Supplemental salt for athletes who sweat a lot or do not have a high sodium intake or drink sports beverages. Thirdly, consume 3 dairy products a day to ensure sufficient calcium intake. A recommended daily intake of 12 to 18 mg of iron. Once again, like Josh specified, for females it's important to take the higher end of this range, which is 18 mg of iron per day. And then lastly, recommended daily intake of 3000 mg of potassium. And usually for potassium and sodium, just to add on, you have a 3:1 ratio, meaning that if your recommended daily intake of potassium is 3000 mg, your sodium should be 1000 mg. Next.
So now I'll be talking about some strategies and advice. So this is a rundown from our intel. We got this about how your regular IG session will be like. So 30 minutes for warm-up and drills and after training. A quick one. So now we'll talk about the pre-training. Before training, after the end class, basically the few 1 hour 30 minutes before training starts, you need to get ready, your body ready for the movement you're gonna do in tennis, which is why you need to top up your glycogen, your energy stores basically, to prevent hunger and fatigue during your training. And have a regular sized meal basically. Give enough time for the body to digest, which is why pre-training about at minimally before 30 minutes. Give your time the body to digest and process the energy before training, and eat the sugar, which is basically carbohydrates, and before training to help store and bring the sugar. So these are some examples you can have, which is some of the meals you have at North, some chicken rice or maybe the fruits, or you can go 7-Eleven to get a fruit juice. Click next. So now we'll talk about the warm-up. You all would know the reason why you all did a warm-up is to warm up the body basically, increase your body temperature. And it's also not to cause fatigue. And we also need to notice and realize that it's to maintain your hydration levels during this stage as well, which is why you still need to drink small amounts of fluids after you've done your regular, whatever warm-up you all do, working over that. So drink a final substantial amount before going to the main drills and match play. Okay, next. And during these 2 hours stage, you're wearing out interval, you need to regulate your body's temperature. And so to transport the nutrients to your muscles and to keep your electrolytes stable and healthy, in balance in your body. Which is why you need to hydrate every changeover or every short break you have after each drill. And it's recommended to have at least an isotonic drink, which is the 100 plus or Mercury Sweat you can get from 7-Eleven or the drink stop, which is off. And also to realize that you should not drink too excessively during the break, and to keep to small sips or small amounts when having this break, not too much excessively at one shot. So also it's a good advice to have a side snack provided, prepared at the side for a quick energy or stamina boost in case you feel too tired. Okay, John, can you go?
Okay, so I'll be talking about the after training. So the after training is usually within 30 minutes to 1 hour. That's the period of after training. So the main purpose for after training is to replenish your glycogen and repair your muscle tissue, especially after you've done your match play. Right? So in order to do this, we have to eat foods that are high in carbohydrates and protein. Right? The carbohydrates, the main purpose for them is to refuel your energy, and the protein is for your optimal recovery for your muscles. Right? So over here at the bottom, you see a few examples of good food that you can eat. Over there, there's yogurt, apple, berry smoothie, and coconut water. All of them are under $4, which is good for budget. And it's very cheap for you guys to afford. Next slide. So here's to continue on. So these are some information based on you guys, the athletes here. So you guys are female tennis players, right? So your nutritional demands are similar to the male players, right? But it's just adjusted slightly. So your lesson usually starts at 9 or 10 a.m. and all the way until 4 to 5 p.m. So and your training sessions are usually on every Tuesday and Thursday around 6 to 9 p.m. So we need to find meals that can be fit for breakfast before 9 a.m., lunch during module breaks at around 1 p.m., and early dinner after 5 p.m. or during pre-training. And since you guys are studying at RP, I'm assuming, and you guys probably don't have a high-paying job, you guys need to have a budget. So we're gonna set the budget around $15.
Okay, hi. So now I'll be talking about this training meal plan. So this is with reference to previously what my teammate has said, your dietary challenges, your physiological demands, and we come with a straightforward plan for you. So you may be wondering why there is no dinner here, because I included it for your training program. I classified it into dinner/pre-training. So for now, this for your lesson schedule, including the budget. So for your normal lesson schedule, from what my teammate just now has said, so your breakfast, you can have your breakfast and your lunch first. So for breakfast, this is because you have to obtain your carbohydrates, your proteins, and healthy fats to last you throughout the day. So some food, I tried it straightforward for you guys, and it's simple, so that you guys can have oatmeal with banana, almond butter, and chia seeds. It's quite a typical breakfast. So what's the cost? It's about $250 within your budget. So I break down the nutrients for you guys. So it's about 6 grams of protein, 35 grams of carbohydrates, 12 grams of fats, and here are the minerals that is present: vitamins A, E, K, potassium, calcium, and iron. We have considered it for you as well, because you need the micronutrients from what Joshua has said. You guys need iron and calcium for you guys female tennis players. So for lunch, in school, in RP, you can obtain great source of protein during the day for muscle repair during our off training days. So you can get grilled chicken salad with steamed broccoli from RP Lawn Canteen, about $4.50. And the proteins are great: 25 grams, 6 grams of carbs, 50 grams of fats, and vitamins A, C, K, potassium, calcium, and iron are present as well. Next. So this is for a day within your training program. So which means that you guys have training on this day. So for pre-training, because you guys need to top up glycogen store and to prevent fatigue before your training starts. So what food can you get? You can get chicken rice, is quite cheap, about $4.50 to $5.50. So nutrients, it considers great protein as well: 25 grams, a lot of carbohydrates, 35 grams, 10 grams of fats, vitamins A, potassium, and iron are present. So actually some vitamins may be lacking, but I want to refer back to Joshua's slides so you guys have a more clear of the mind what are the vitamins there instead. So for warm up, you guys are to maintain your hydration level. So you can or cannot consider this. You can have some small sip of isotonic drinks, 100 plus, Pocari Sweat, whatever isotonic drinks help you, about $1, $2. So these are the vitamins available: vitamins A, C, potassium, sodium, and calcium is available. So during your drills, you need to keep your electrolytes, maintain your body. So you can have quick energy food such as your energy gel, banana, dried fruits. This to help you to replenish quick energy. It's about $1, $2 as well. You can get it for cheap. So protein is about 1 gram, and the other vitamins, things are maybe negligible such as fats, and there's a lot of carbohydrates, 40 grams. That gives you a lot of energy. Vitamins A and C, potassium, calcium, and iron are present as well. And then after you train, you have to obtain a lot of protein. So you can have grilled chicken, you can have yogurt for protein. You can get it from 7-Eleven, $2.50. So there's a lot of proteins included: 25 grams, 10 grams of carbs, 10 grams of fats, vitamins A, potassium, calcium, iron is always there present for you. So you may be wondering, why is there so many vitamins? So we are here to make sure that you have all these vitamins to suit your body, to maintain your menstrual cycle as well, like the iron and calcium. Next. And thank you.
Here's a Q&A segment, so you guys can ask any questions.
Then the teacher asked why so many of them take out their phone.
So can I use supplements instead to meet my nutritional requirements?
Okay, so we recommend that you get your nutritional requirements from whole food first before you supplement with other supplements. Stephanie, we can move to the page on the carbohydrate, protein, fats. Yeah, so whole food should come from the sources that are stated in this category. So for example, you can actually consume like rice with a side of eggs or chicken, and then you can pair it up with like fatty fish as well. And then the reason for it is because when you consume whole foods, you're actually getting more nutrients than just consuming the supplements from like those multivitamins or protein powder, that kind. Yeah, so we would actually suggest whole foods first before you supplement with anything else. And supplements should only be used under supervision from like a professional, and also unless when you guys realize that, oh, maybe you're not getting a protein goal, then only then you should be actually going to protein shakes and protein powders. Yeah.
What if I follow the guide but I still have performance problems like stitches?
So this guide, if you float, I'll answer the question. So this guide, right, is not suitable for everybody, but you need to, because everybody's body works differently, so you have to find the perfect balance. So what I would suggest is that you try this guide in a recreational setting first before you go to competitive settings, because if you go to competitive settings first, then you will have more pressure. So because of various factors such as like digestion, metabolism, and various factors like that, you can try to tweak and adjust. So let's say like you feel bloated, then you can reduce the chicken intake, the protein intake, and then you don't feel thirsty, so you can lower down your water consumption. So it's about you trying out yourself, and then you find the perfect balance.
Can I replace caffeinated drinks for my water or isotonic drinks?
Okay, so in the case where you guys prefer drink a lot of caffeinated drinks like coffee or tea, it can be a replacement for your water and isotonic drinks. It can be. However, it is suggested that you stay to low doses, because even though when you drink caffeinated drinks, it has been proved that it can improve your alertness and your focus and your reaction time. However, you should still stick to low doses if you are trying, and make sure that when you try this, it has been tried in mock matches with prior or training sessions. However, in summary, water and isotonic drinks are still the best option, but caffeinated drinks can be an add-on.
Okay, so why do I still feel tired even though I eat normally?
Okay, wait, give me a minute. So, even though eating normally, your body still needs the necessary micronutrients to absorb. So such meals with low complex carbohydrates, low iron, low protein, they are not a good supply for longer lasting energy source. They are more of just a short burst of energy. So they give irregular, it will be like a very high blood sugar level, and suddenly it will droop all the way, which is what we call sugar crash. And that will make us feel fatigued. And because of this imbalance, it doesn't matter how much you eat. If you eat too little, if your body is not able to absorb the necessary nutrients, your body will not function as optimal as you want it. Which is why it's very important to keep a consistent meal plan and not to have imbalanced diet, basically imbalanced nutrient intake. Okay.
What should be the most important nutritional aspect we should focus on?
I think it should be about consistency. So making sure you're fueling well before and after the training, hydrating well throughout the day. As for nutritional aspect, you're talking about which one nutrient. There is no one nutrient that is going to be particularly good for you alone. You have to understand that all of these nutrients that we've talked about, that Josh has explained, they work together, and if you have deficiency in one of them, it's not going to enhance your performance if you make up for it in another aspect of your diet. Yeah. Is there any more questions?
Any more questions?
No.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Probably have a lot.